Hello, everyone, and welcome back to gaming news for this week, which is the 19th to the 23rd, and there is a lot to cover. You may have noticed that I launched a second gaming video where I discussed the Activision Blizzard lawsuit, and I have decided to release that for free. So anybody who wants to look at a video talking about a bunch of different elements sort of regarding the lawsuit and the lead up to the lawsuit, I feel it was important to share that information and not to put it behind any kind of paywall or anything like that. So please feel free to take a look at it, give some feedback on the video, and let me know what you think about the Activision Blizzard situation. With that in mind, we are going to cover the first thing, which is a Kotaku article about the new XCOM game and how it just doesn't meet expectations. So, please note that this article has already been updated with a slightly different title. Originally, it said that the game looked like shit in the original title, and the editors decided to change it to be this slightly modified title to reflect better the idea or thoughts related to this game. Now, this was met with a lot of controversy. So, the XCOM games are known for their challenging tactics, roster management, and bullshit shooting percentages, so it's surprising, or really not surprising at all, to see 2K license out a new mobile game that has absolutely none of these traits. XCOM Legends, developed by Iridium Starfish, has been soft launched in certain territories around the world on Android phones, meaning the game was just kind of released quietly without any kind of grand fanfare or big announcements, at least until it gets a wider release in more places. This isn't a turn-based tactical shooter. There aren't maps to explore, there's no flanking, no base management, and everybody looks like they're new Overwatch characters. Instead, XCOM Legends has you rushing automatically from staged encounter to staged encounter, using loads of abilities that have cooldowns and earning all kinds of different in-game currency that can be spent on all kinds of gacha crap. Which, of course it does, because almost every mobile game is now broadly the same thing. So focused have the studios of metrics and economics and player engagement and endorphin hits become. There are hints of Firaxis recent games here, like some of the background art and unit design, but then this game pretends those never existed canonically. God. As its plot description is, 20 years have passed since Earth surrendered to the alien invaders. By the time we realized the alien threat, the war was already over and humanity was lost. To exterminate the last of the resistance fighters, the aliens have unleashed an untold ancient evil. We now need your help once again, Commander, to assemble XCOM's greatest warriors, both past and present, and take back Earth. Are you ready? What I don't get here is why bother with the XCOM license. This isn't XCOM, and XCOM isn't exactly a household name. Even if it were, the actual XCOM games are already available on mobile, both of them, and they're pretty great. Only those games are both standalone purchases, not custom designed money sinks designed to prey on people's impulses, and, okay, I get it. And then there is an update to reflect the new headline, and I would like to talk about this article. First, I have read many of this author's articles before, and generally speaking, he is a decent writer. I enjoy reading his pieces. well, again, there are certain things that I do not agree with. His writing is usually quite good and quite knowledgeable to a degree and fits the general idea or general thing that you expect to receive from Kotaku. However, after reading this article multiple times over the last few days, it became clear to me that this article seemed very rushed. And I do not feel like it is as polished of an article as he normally produces. And I feel like this writer is also incredibly invested in the XCOM series. And now this is interesting to me because I do enjoy XCOM and I rage ridiculously at XCOM like everybody else because you could have 98% chance to hit a target and for some reason the game is like, nope. And it's incredibly frustrating, and there's a reason I don't stream that game because it is so frustrating and it makes me just angry. But there are some interesting fundamental things regarding this article that I'd like to talk about. One, when game companies release a trailer about a game, they have to decide a couple of minutes worth of time to showcase to the user or the viewer about the game. Sometimes what the viewers are given and what the gamers are given is not in line with expectations, or it doesn't reflect fully what the game is about. And it's very similar to movies or new television shows, is that you'll see a trailer or an idea about what the show is going to be, or like a pilot, and it really doesn't give you that much of a sense of what the game is going to be. So the fact that we are assuming, the writers, the gaming industry, are assuming what this XCOM game is going to be based on a 2-minute trailer does seem a little bit ridiculous to me, and I feel like there should have been more time afforded before making an opinion piece about how you feel about the game, considering this game is not out yet. But secondly, I do feel like this author is kind of dumping all over mobile games. Now, while I am not big on mobile gaming in general, it's more in line with the fact that I don't do enough traveling and I don't use my phone as religiously as most people do in current day. I use my PC for basically everything, and I scroll through Twitter or maybe watch some YouTube videos on my phone. I generally don't do a lot of gaming on my phone, and I certainly don't expect to have the latest and greatest titles on my mobile device, because to me it's I would rather play it on my computer where I know I will see things properly, where I can click on things very easily, where I'm accustomed to using a computer. Those are things that are important to me. Now, that doesn't mean that the mobile gaming industry is insignificant. In fact, sales for mobile gaming has definitely skyrocketed, and there's a reason why different video game companies have jumped on the bandwagon to provide different mobile games to their audiences, because there is profit to be made there. There is a fan base that is huge in the mobile space. That doesn't make those games insignificant. But I feel like this article kind of misses the mark when it comes to mobile gaming. And they're just upset by this trailer because they're clearly a fan of the series, and I feel like this article might have been slightly misguided. So I came across a Twitter thread of a person who does work in gaming and does give some statistics and whatnot about the mobile gaming industry and how it is very different than the PC gaming industry. And I will link that below in the description. But he does warn at the beginning, I am not a good person to talk about being civil in the discourse. I curse like a sailor, though I've toned it down quite a bit, and I have a long history of being brusque and, let's just call it, brutally honest. And I don't give a damn about that. So what I do care about is the fact that Kotaku doesn't seem to know much about the mobile gaming industry. Mobile is, by some counts, much bigger at this point than classical gaming in the US, and yet Kotaku has a huge hole in their knowledge base. So he does link a picture from Newzoo, which is a fantastic website for anything analytical having to do with the gaming industry. You can find that on Newzoo. It is actually very useful, and I've been following it for a number of years now. He goes on to say, I am to some degree being unfair to Kotaku. The entire gaming press treats mobile gaming like a black sheep. It is surprisingly hard to find quality mobile-oriented writing outside of Deconstructor often and a couple of other niche sites. And to be fair, this is because mobile gamers are, well, more casual gamers. They're less likely to treat games as a lifestyle than a Kotaku gamer. Although that's not entirely true. More and more hardcore gamers also have something mobile going on as well. Again, I'm not going to read the whole thread. I will link it below, but certainly it is worth the read because he goes into detail about the soft launching and how it's not uncommon for the mobile gaming market to do this, and how there are a lot of different things to consider when you look at mobile gaming in general. So if you can get past some of the brash, profane sort of segments of the thread, it is well worth the read, and I found it very informative to the understanding of mobile gaming because it is such a huge market, and I do feel like that article could have been written a lot better. And I'm aware that it was an opinion piece and that the person is upset, but sometimes you just got to give it time. There are countless examples of games that released too early, and then once they got everything up and running and fixed, that the games turned out to be stellar. So take that for what you will, but just know that sometimes just being a little bit patient about things is better than just jumping on the bandwagon and looking at one trailer and assuming the worst. The next thing I'd like to cover is Twitch Rivals. And Twitch Rivals, as you may know, is sort of like a friendly competition between streamers who can go into these different tournaments to win a certain amount of money that is offered at the time. In this case, we have Twitch Rivals resets EU Warzone tournament after hackers ruin matches. So after receiving backlash for their failure to reset matches after hackers invaded the 75,000 Twitch Rivals Warzone showdown on Tuesday, Twitch Rivals staff reversed their initial decision and decided to scrap the first half of the event and do a full reset with only 4 games remaining. The decision to reset the tournament comes after multiple streamers, including most notably FIFA Kill, called for the event to do something about the alleged hackers who were participating in the event. One of the accused hackers, who goes by this guy, is a Twitch partner and was streaming themselves using hacks during the competition. He has since been removed from the tournament, and his Twitch channel has been banned. Initially, administrators refused to reset the games and allowed the alleged cheating streamers in question to continue playing. That decision led to some major backlash from competitors and fans alike, who saw the decision as a direct affront to the competitive integrity of the Twitch Rivals events. And that really just says it all right there, that most of the time when it comes to tournaments, if you are found to be cheating, you are going to be kicked from the tournament and banned, and possibly even disbarred from any future tournament by doing so. I'm just extremely surprised that this happened for Twitch Rivals, considering how big it is, how widely known it is, and that you would have the brass stones to even attempt such a thing. So I am incredibly glad that the person was banned, but we'll see how long that lasts for, and if that integrity sticks, or, you know, anything sort of surrounding this issue. I suppose an argument could be made for the fact that because we can't do in-person tournaments, it's a little bit harder to regulate the computers that you're using to make sure that people are not using hacking software or anything like that, or cheat systems. And if you're using a personal computer or a laptop at home, because we can't do live events, it's harder to find culprits who are cheating. And just the fact that you were dumb enough to stream the fact that you were even cheating and hoped that people wouldn't notice. I mean, you've got some serious stones, and I am just incredibly glad that a ban was handed down after this. But that is just awful to even consider, and what the hell, Warzone? Seriously. Shooters, man, I don't understand why people feel the need to cheat and hack in order to be good, but I guess this is the level that people are stooping to nowadays. So what the hell? So the next thing I'd like to talk about is a tweet that led to a ball rolling of a number of different things. Glad, a predominantly main Destiny 2 player, has been branching out and looking at other video games. And recently he got into the New World beta, which is done by Amazon Game Studios, and discovered that because of the game, his 3090 was completely fried, and that a number of people made the same claim. Now, this led to a multitude of different things, like people posting in forums that their fan speeds increased to 100%, their frames per second dropped to 0, and monitors turning off. Video card is no longer detected, and then discovered that now the 3090 won't pass post on boot up. And so customer service did, you know, ask about that and said, we're sorry you're having trouble with your GPU. Have you had a chance to check out the graphics and performance section under common issues over in this thread? And a number of people came forward. Now, after that, New World posted a tweet that hundreds of thousands of people played in the New World closed beta yesterday, with millions of total hours played. We've received a few reports of players using high-performance graphics cards experienced hardware failure when playing New World. New World makes standard DirectX calls as provided by the Windows API. We have seen no indication of widespread issues with 3090s either in the beta or during our many months of alpha testing. The New World closed beta is safe to play. In order to further reassure players, we will implement a patch today that caps frames per second on our menu screen. We're grateful for the support New World is receiving from players around the world, and we'll keep listening to their feedback throughout the beta and beyond. Now, this led to Jay's 2 cents releasing a video on the 21st saying, beware, this game could brick your GPU. And he elaborates as to what could be happening with the graphics cards and what things you need to sort of consider and look at when it comes to different video games and how GPUs actually work and what the actual causes are. So he has a very interesting and informative 18-minute long video that I will also link. And then after that, on the 22nd at 3 o'clock in the morning, he tweets saying, I've now had the following GPU owners express they have had shutdowns and failures with New World: the RX 590, the 6800, the 6800 XT, the 6900 XT, the 3080 Ti, and the 3090. So once again, the issue is definitely something in the way the game New World is rendering. This isn't a 3090s exclusive issue. So this just sort of keeps going down this weird path of making sure that people are informed, and New World or Amazon Games has at least released a patch to limit the FPS to maybe prevent GPUs from frying, exploding, or doing other weird things, especially considering that graphics cards are incredibly expensive right now and that it is experiencing a shortage and it's much harder to get a graphics card on top of all of that because of the Bitcoin miners and whatnot, plus hardware shortages to even make some of the graphics cards. So if a single game is starting to brick a lot of GPUs, I can completely understand why a lot of people would be really upset about the whole issue. So just be warned that if you have any of these cards, that there is a possibility of something happening to your graphics card, and please keep up to date on the information. I know that Jay's 2 cents also released another video a few minutes before I recorded this video, so I encourage you to take a look at that because he got into the closed beta and he is testing with presumably a 3090 to see what is actually happening and analyzing the situation so that people can be better informed about the game and what to do and that kind of thing. So definitely keep an eye on that information. The next thing I want to cover very briefly is yet another Kotaku article. And in this case, eBay is already filled with Steam Deck scalpers asking for way too much money. So there is a scroll showing the well-inflated prices, and if you watched last week's gaming news video, you would know that the highest price of any of them, I think, was the $600 or $700 mark for the most amount of space for the Steam Deck. And these prices, they just ain't it, fam. So, Valve's recently announced a handheld PC, the Switch-like Steam Deck, isn't out yet, but folks can pre-register for an opportunity to buy it at a later date, and some scalpers are already trying to flip these registrations for hundreds of dollars. The Steam Deck was revealed on July 15th, and yesterday Valve opened up the store, allowing folks to plop down $5 to register for the opportunity to buy one. The device will allow people to play many of their already owned Steam games on the go via the powerful hardware inside the device. The base model starts at $400. I believe that's US, by the way. For the first hour or so on July 16th, after Valve began accepting these pre-registration, things collapsed and folks ran into error messages and crashing servers. But eventually things calmed down and it became easy to pre-register for a Steam Deck. Even as things calmed down and with that $5 registration fee, none of this has stopped resellers who in the last 24 hours or so have flooded eBay with offers to buy Steam Decks for large prices, including some asking for as high as $2,500. This is ridiculous. But what I'd like to draw your attention to is the update on the 17th, which is eBay told Kotaku via email that these listings will be removed as they violate the website's presale policy. This policy states that all presale items must ship within 30 days, which is not the case with Valve's Steam Deck. It won't start shipping until December 2021 at the earliest. While I understand that many of you out there might be feeling FOMO after not getting in on the pre-registration madness yesterday, I'd hold off on buying any of these eBay listings and supporting these resellers. Instead, go to Valve's site and place your own order. While it might be a long wait before you get one, it's a better use of your time and money. And I can't say that I disagree with this because we know that scalpers have been destroying the market of basically everything when it comes to gaming. The PlayStation 5 was just impossible to get. Being unable to get a Steam Deck because of scalpers, while Valve is doing the best that they can and implementing policies, scalpers are still managing to get a hold of these things, especially since there is a restriction to one purchase per person, per account, whatever it is. And of course, Yang Yi actually did a video about the whole issue, so I will also make sure to link that below. And he has his sources used for his video talking about the whole issue. But scalpers suck, and I hate them, and they need to go find something else to do because this is ridiculous. Just stop. Seriously. The final thing I would like to cover is interesting. There is a YouTube channel known as H3H3 who typically does a podcast, and I have always been very on the fence about their content, and I have to say that I'm strangely not surprised with the things that I have learned, because recently H3H3 has been allowed back onto the Twitch platform. And this sort of spawned a whole other thing as he went for the throat pretty much right away about the issue of gambling. And with that, he smacked right into XQC, who stands up for Twitch gambling streams after an H3H3 podcast. So, as gambling has continued to take over Twitch, many prominent voices in the community have speculated that gambling streamers are scamming viewers. Two of those most prominent voices are now colliding. Popular YouTuber Ethan H3H3 Klein rejoined Twitch on July 20th and immediately made an impact when he accused popular streamers of faking many of their big gambling wins. Included in his accusations was popular streamer Felix XQC Lengyel. H3H3 actually called many of these wins impossible, saying that streamers were rigging the odds to get young viewers to also use gambling. gambling websites. But XQC has responded to H3H3's accusations, calling the drama YouTuber shameless. In a recent stream, XQC explained that nobody should argue against something if they are just going to spread misinformation. What? I'm sorry, but we have already seen multiple issues with things like loot boxes. We have also seen the fact that many young people are using their parents' credit cards to buy thousands of dollars worth of in-game currencies to have the coolest skins or greatest weapons or whatever the heck it is that they spend all of this money on. And we've already seen a couple of people banned off of Twitch for setting up a gambling site, which was the CSGO lottery thing, and that blow up massively in their face. And that was a giant lawsuit that you can go look up as well. And gambling is a real problem. There's a reason why The Who has talked about playing too much video games can be extremely addicting, and to warn parents of the negative effects of having addictive personalities and engaging in gambling practices before they are old enough to understand how badly gambling can screw up your entire life. The fact that XQC is silly enough to assume that gambling websites on Twitch is spreading misinformation when people say do not use these things. Who exactly do you think you're helping here? That's what I want to know. You're literally saying to a mass group of people between the ages of 13 to however old, because there are a ton of awesome streamers between all ages, and you're stating that gambling doesn't matter and that it's totally acceptable to throw your life into the dumps, where you, a big name streamer, are making tons of money and endorsing shit like this, and basically putting yourself in the limelight so that you get more hits and that you financially profit off of the suffering of other people. Thanks for that. While I do not necessarily like H3H3, I think that in this case he had reason to talk about gambling streamers and how there are many more of them showing up on Twitch and how bad that is for people. And here's this other streamer who I also don't particularly like saying, no, it's fine because you don't want to risk spreading misinformation by stating that certain gambling things are more legitimate than other ones. What the hell kind of argument is that? I'm sorry. That is the most ludicrous thing I have heard, at least in a while, if we ignore the Activision Blizzard dumpster fire that it is. So, that's all I've got for you today for this particular video. Please let me know about your thoughts or things that you would like me to potentially cover in the future. I don't mind taking a look at different things to comment about. And thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. I hope that you continue to enjoy these videos. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.